Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Automate Project Data Migration from File Servers in SharePoint into Autodesk Construction Cloud. This session is proudly brought to you by Graitec. My name is Clemens, and I'll be your moderator for today. Before we begin, just a quick housekeeping notes. You can always find upcoming events, webinars, and training opportunities by visiting our calendar at isti.com/calendar. So feel free to check it out and share it with your team. We'd also love your inputs. On the right side of your screen, you'll see a quick poll. Please take a moment to answer it. It helps us to better understand how we can best support you and your business. Don't forget to explore the Bluebeam free trial along with our customized training and services. You can just scan the QR code on the right on your screen to get started. And finally, we encourage you to engage with us. So drop your questions in the live chat at any time. We'll answer them during the Q&A at the end of today's presentation. So now let's get to the main event. I'm really pleased to introduce our featured speaker today, Rick Kramer. So Rick is a certified Bluebeam instructor at Graitec with extensive experience helping AEC professionals leverage technology to improve efficiency, accuracy, and collaboration. He's a recognized thought leader in digital workflows and a trusted advisor to firms across the architecture, engineering, and constructions industries. So, Rick, thank you for joining us today. I'll hand it over to you.
Clemens, thank you so much. But wait. Before we go further, just in case, again, thank you for the folks that are live watching this. Let's go back one, those QR codes, because I know a lot of people might be looking at this for the first time or watching it recorded. Grab your cell phones, right, and turn your camera on. Now, I'm on an iPhone, so I don't know Android, but I would imagine it's the same thing. Turn on your camera, and when you point to this QR code, there'll be a hyperlink where you can get a free trial of Bluebeam. Now, of course, it's not going to do Bluebeam on your phone, kind of, but we'll talk about that later. Surprise, surprise. And you can also find out about our training. Feel free to take a look at both of those items on your phone. We have an extensive amount of different type of training opportunities, from fundamentals to intermediate to advanced, to Bluebeam review just for project managers, for estimating, for permitting. We even have a class in Spanish for those of you who speak Spanish. So this guy is the guy that'll be teaching it in Spanish as well. So anyway, just wanted to share with you all. Today we are going to be doing accurate takeoffs in Bluebeam review. We're going to be focusing on electrical, and then I'm going to go live in just a second using Bluebeam review, and then I'm going to introduce you to my little iPad. Well, you can't see it, but over here is an older version of the iPad. I want to show you some new features you might not know exist that just kind of showed up. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. And remember, if you have any questions, use that chat button to ask any questions. All right, so let's go ahead and bring my screen up. And here we go. Look, I gotta close all these different things. All right. So hopefully, do you see my screen, Clemens, in Bluebeam review?
Yes, I see it. You're ready to go, Rick. Let's go.
Good. Let's go. All right. So here in Bluebeam review, what we're going to do, let me kind of take a big picture, right? So we're going to open up a PDF. We're going to be taking a look at how we can use a regular PDF to start to go through and do a quantity takeoff on anything. And in this case, it's going to be electrical fixtures or outlets or data points, anything of that nature. From there, we're going to see how we can extract that information into Excel and even do some simple formulas all inside of review. And then if we have time, I'm going to show you how we can take this on the go. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Here in Bluebeam review on the desktop, I'm simply going to go over here and open up a drawing that I have. Now, this particular drawing, by the way, no surprise here, because I want you to follow along at home if you're interested, can be found here in the Help menu, and then go through and take a look at Launch Review Tutorials. So If you're short on time or attention span, take a look at the tutorials that are here, and you'll find inside 5 or 6 different workflows that are about 3 minutes each. They have videos and an attached data set. If you have more time and you'd like to invest more time in training, built into Bluebeam Review are training resources. Now, these aren't live classes, doesn't replace me or anyone from my team providing training that might be even customized to you, but you have resources built into Bluebeam Review. So first things first, let's take a look at this drawing. In Bluebeam Review, as you know, we're looking at a PDF. We're not looking at a Revit file or an AutoCAD file or Navisworks, anything of that nature. This is flat information. Historically, looking at this information, if we wanted to go through and do a quantity takeoff, let's say of data points or outlets, and count how many we have so we can do an estimate, we got to use something like this, right? So we'll put this on paper, but then what happens when the electrical engineer or architect sends us a new drawing? Well, guess what? We got to do this over again. And this is a manual kind of thing. So let's go into a new way of doing it electronically using Bluebeam Review. Now, some of you that I've talked to on the phone before, you probably might do this in a unique way. You might go over to Tools, Markup over here, and just draw, for example, a circle and say, okay, there's one here, and then I'm going to go back again and keep drawing it, and here's another one, and I'm going to manually go through and place these. Well, that's really no different than hitting it with a highlighter. Let me go ahead and delete these real quick, and I'm going to show you a methodology that we can do using Bluebeam Review's built-in search feature. Now, built into Bluebeam Review, here on the left access panel, you'll find a search icon. Looks like a magnifying glass. If you're following along at home, take a look at it. It might be on the left access panel or over here on the right-hand side. I've moved mine to the left. What we're going to do is we're going to click inside here, and when we're looking for objects, here what we're going to do is have Bluebeam Review do the heavy lifting and look for anything on this particular file. Now, it could be one sheet or 500 sheets that I can have it scan. So as an example, this particular drawing might have 10 floors of RCP plans or electrical plans, and I can have it scan all those sheets, or pick the sheets that I want to go through and scan so I can get an accurate takeoff per floor. This particular sample set of drawings just has one floor, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. When looking at itemizing information, I'm going to look for something that I want to take quantity of. For example, over here are my duplexes. Let's go through and show you how easy it is to capture how many these are. And then I'm going to show you how we can easily start to go through and customize even the icon used for indicating that this is a duplex versus a TV or data point or quad, right? So first things first, here in the search, you have 2 different ways of doing a search, text or visual search. I'm going to do a visual search because I'm looking for a widget. In this case, one of these, let's say, duplexes. I'll click over here on Visual and then click on Get Rectangle. Clicking Get Rectangle, now all I have to do is left click in Window around one of the sample data points. In this case, my outlet, my duplex. On the left-hand side over here in the Access panel, we'll see a preview of what it's looking for. In Bluebeam Review, now all I need to do is click the Search button. Before I do, look down below. Over here are different options. I can search the entire document, which by default is going to be on, which means it's going to search every single page. If you're thinking, I just need one page done, then all I have to do is do the current page. I can also browse to other documents that are on SharePoint, on my OneDrive, anywhere on the computer, or I can even go to Recents or even go to a folder. In this case, I'm just going to pick the current page. Here, now I'm ready to go. I've identified what I want to search. I'm going to search, in this case, just the single page, and I'll click Search. Now's the heavy lifting. Here, Bluebeam Review on the bottom left-hand side is scanning it. And you'll see in just a moment how many it found. Here, in just a second, it's going to show how many it counted. Wow, hold on, it's coming. Did you see this? 151 duplexes. You're like, great, well now what? Here in Bluebeam Review, on the results panel, you'll see a preview of everything that it picked, which it did a really good job. So you're going, well now what? Here, all I need to do is select the icon over here next to the lightning bolt to select everything that it previewed. I'll go ahead and click on it, and you'll notice that it goes through and places a check mark on all of these searched results. You might want to go through with your scroll bar and scroll down to see if it accidentally picked something up. Let's say, for argument's sake, one of these was not picked up correctly and it picked up a GFI instead of just a regular duplex. You can simply click right here to deselect it out of your group. But this case, it really did a good job. It just found the duplexes. So I'm going to put that back into my control group. I'll go back all the way up to the top, and over here, now that I've selected all of my items, what do I want to do with it? To the right of it, let's take a look at the lightning bolt. The lightning bolt is an action item. Let's click on the drop down button, and here's what I can do. In this case, I'm going to focus on applying a count measurement, the third option, over here to those items. I want you to notice right at the very top are built-in icons that I can use to identify this object. In just a little bit, I'll show you how we can start to go through and customize it for something that we want. In this case, I'll simply go ahead and place a check mark. Once I'm done, I'll clear my search results. And now let's zoom out and take a look at what we have. I don't know if you see this or not, but over here are all of my duplexes. How many do I have exactly? Can be found over here in the markups list, 151. But you'll notice over here, here's my count. Now, if you don't have count showing up in your markups list, open up your markups list drop-down panel, then go to columns, and here are out-of-the-box columns headers that we can turn on or off. Out of the box, sometimes count might be on or off. Look for count and turn it on. Here, let's go ahead and turn off some of the things that I don't need, like color, and I'll leave everything else. So I have 151 of this object. But you're going to say, but wait a minute, it's just as generically called count measurement. Here's where the fun begins. What we're going to do is now we're going to start to go through and tailor Bluebeam Review for our use as an electrical engineer. What I want to do is I'm going to go through and set up a custom profile. That way I can save my custom tool set to that profile. You're like, what is he talking about? In Bluebeam Review, down underneath the review dropdown, you'll notice there's profiles. Out of the box are the 4 different profiles that come with Bluebeam Review. Review, Review Advanced, Quantity Takeoff, and Field Issues. In order to move forward and customize the type of workflow that I'd like to do, so I have my own icons for electrical outlets, I'm going to go through and create a new profile. Here, I'm going to click on Manage Profiles. In Manage Profiles, I'm simply going to go through and add my own profile. Again, this is all about standardizing the profile, which controls all of the icons and layout on your toolbars in Bluebeam Review. That way you can use this as a standard across the board. Here, I'll simply click on Add. I'll give it a name. I'm going to give this a name called Rick's ADV Profile. Pretty fancy, right? I'll go ahead and hit OK. By default, it's going to go ahead and save it here in the default location. Pro tip, over here, if you want to save it somewhere outside of your computer, I recommend clicking on the Browse button, the ... and put it somewhere on the network. This way you can share it with everyone. Here, now this is just saved on my own computer. I'll go ahead and hit OK. If I go back to the top left-hand corner, take a look at Review, Profiles, you'll notice that I have my profile selected. Why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I want to start to go through and create, you ready, my own tool chest. The tool chest is the ability to go through and customize your markups and then save them so you can use them over and over again on any project. Out of the box over here on the left-hand side, you'll see all of the out-of-the-box tool sets. Now, these tool sets, I don't want to use those. I want to do my own. So I'm going to go over here to Tool Chest. I'll go to Manage Tool Chest Columns. Oops, sorry. Manage Tool Sets. And here are the ones that are out of the box. What I'm simply going to do is turn off some of these so they don't show. Notice on the left-hand side, those tool sets are disappearing. I'm always going to keep my tools in recents. Here, I'm going to add a new tool set. Click plus and create new. Let's go ahead and give it a new tool set name. I'm going to say Rick's Electrical Tools Tool Set. I'll click on Show in All Profiles. This is a good feature because in case someone else downstream uses something other than my advanced profile, it'll show up in their custom profile. I'll go ahead and hit OK. I'll save this in a location. Again, out of the box, this is going to save it on your computer. Pro tip, place it on the network. All right, from here, I'm simply going to hit Save. And OK. You'll see it's an empty tool set. How do I now go through and fill this empty tool set with my custom tools? Let's go ahead and let's create our own custom icon. In this case, I don't want a checkbox. I want, let's say, a circle, and I want it to be filled with something, or maybe a rectangle. Over here at the very top, I'll go through and select, let's select a circle, an ellipse. An ellipse, by the way, if you click and drag on it, it gives you an elliptical shape, but if you hold shift, it gives you a circle. I'm going to go ahead and give it an approximate circle that is about the size that I need. I'm going to go over here, bring it in a little. Perfect. So that's about the size that I want. Now I'm going to go ahead and fill it so it's easier to find. I'll go ahead and give it a yellow, but make sure that you actually go through and give it a highlight function. That way you can see through it. I'll even do one thing more. Let's say this solid line over here, I'm going to change that to dashed. Perfect. This particular icon, I want to use this instead of the check mark. Let's go through and customize this right here into a tool that we can use over and over again. You'll notice, by the way, when I'm creating this object over here, it shows up in my recent tool chest, tool set. The reason why it's important to have the recents is because from here, I can simply drag and drop into my tool set. Watch. I'm going to select this object that I just created, left click and drag it right here into electrical tool set. How easy was that? Next, I'm going to go over here into the gear icon, which is the settings, and change it to detail. The reason why I'm doing this is that I want to go through and customize this to give it a unique name. Not only a unique name, but also to go through and make it a counting object. I can do that simply by right-clicking on that new markup and create it as a counting markup. You'll notice now that markup has count measurement. You'll notice it's the circle, it's yellow and red, but it says generically count measurement. We're going to go through and call it something that it is, in this case, a duplex. I'm going to select it, highlight it, and go over here to my properties panel. On my properties panel, this is where we can control our markups. For those users in Revit, you know every time that you click on an object, you can go to the properties of that object and change its properties. In Bluebeam Review, we can do the exact same thing. Here, I've selected my counting object. Over here, brought up my properties panel, and let's go ahead and give it a name. Here, I'm going to say this is a duplex. Duplex outlet, right? Duplex outlet. Perfect. In order for this to stick, click in the next field. When you do that, that information is now written to the tool set. Pretty darn cool. Let's go ahead and minimize our object. Now, I'm going to go ahead and delete this placeholder and also remove this one right here because I don't need it. I just need the duplex outlet. I'll go ahead and select ellipse and delete that one. Great. Now I have my duplex outlet. You're like, but Rick, I already have all of these circles here. I mean, these check marks. How do I go through and replace them? In this case, remember, we have 151 of these objects that are generic. What I'm simply going to do is select one, go over here to its properties. Over here is my custom count icons. I'm going to select duplex. Did you see what just happened? It automatically changed it from a generic and changed its name. In Bluebeam Review, it's critical that you change the subject name to what it is that you're actually doing, whether you're marking up a red line, counting an object, whatever it is. I always orient the markup associated with the thing by customizing the name in the subject. Great. So now we have 151 of these objects. Let's count something else. In this case, let's go through and I'm going to count, I don't know, this quad. Just like before, what I'm going to do is this time, I'm going to create the icon for the quad ahead of time. I'm going to go to a box, a rectangle, and simply draw a box around this. And this one, I'm going to go through and make it blue. Let's go ahead and change the fill to blue and make it hatch. And just like before, I'm going to go through and change the outline over here to dashed. Awesome. So this is the object that I want. Remember, it's now right here in recents. Let's go through and give that over here a counting object. So I'm going to left click on it and simply drag it into my electrical tool set. Right click on it and create count. Just like before, I'm going to select it. Over here, change this to quad outlet and tab into the next one. Perfect. See how easy that was? And I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Next, let's go ahead and find how many quads we have. Let's go ahead and delete this. Just for funsies, I'm going to go over here and zoom out so we can see. Look at this drawing. How fun is that? Over here, it's dead on, spot on, I should say, and now I can go through and calculate that information. Okay, let's look for quads. Here, I'm going to do the search function. I'm going to click Get Rectangle and window in on one of the quads. Let's say this one right here. Boom. I'll click Current Page, click Search. Sit back, relax, have some coffee, and you'll notice over here it found 16 of them. Again, I'm going to scroll through real quick just to make sure that it got them all and didn't accidentally get something else. I'll scroll up, click on the check mark next to the lightning bolt. Over here, apply count, and there's my quad. Awesome. How easy is that? So I have 16 and 151. Let's take it yet to the next level. Counting is fun. We can start to go through and apply a count measurement, but you'll notice sometimes Bluebeam Review doesn't catch them all. Remember, it's just a computer application. You still need your eyeballs on the drawing over here to verify that information. Right now, I just noticed that the duplex over here missed one. In reality, folks, this is going to happen. When you start to scan your drawings, it might miss some of the objects. Remember, it's looking for an object, not something that has, let's say, AEC information or a parameter or type information. So in this case, what I can do is add this to the group simply by clicking left on the icon of the duplex, right-clicking, and then resuming the count, and then click to add it. While I still have it on my cursor, I'll simply just do a quick cursory review just to make sure I didn't miss some, and it looks like it missed a couple. You know, again, it's not a perfect system, but I'll tell you, this beats doing it manually. And here I'm just doing a quick visual search, which would have taken me a lot more time, especially if I was working on a large set of drawings. And we're done. I'll hit escape. So it captured them all, and now I have 154. So now let's go through and add some more information. Just like in Revit, in Review, we can add additional information. In Revit, are called parameters. Here, we're going to add additional information in our columns so we can calculate cost. Here, for example, I'll go to the markups list, go to columns, And actually, before I continue, Clemens, do we have any questions from the audience? If not, we'll come back if there are. Here, I'm going to click on Manage Columns, and I'm going to go to Custom Columns. Oh, wait a minute. Do we have something?
Yeah, I had trouble adding me to the stream. No, we don't have any question from Narek.
All right,
So,
perfect. We'll
guys,
see if this
if you
one does
have
that.
any, yeah, guys, if you have any question, please feel free to drop them in the chats. Rick will answer them. So go for it.
Yes, absolutely. So here what we want to do is we want to go through and customize this. The whole idea is that we want to go through and attach a number, in this case, a price for these objects. Under custom columns, I'll click over here on add, and I'm going to add a new one. So this is unit cost. And what type of unit cost is it? In this case, it's a number. Well, what kind of number? Just like in Excel, we can start to go through and give it different type of options. Here, it's going to be a currency. And in this case, it's a dollar amount. I can give it 2 decimal points or decimal places, so I can have it be 1432, or have it no 2 decimals and have it round up. In this case, I'm going to have it be 2 decimal points places. Now, what's unit cost? But I also need total. So I'll go over here and click plus. I'm going to add total cost internal. For that, that's going to be a formula. In the formula, I'm simply going to type in count. Now, if you're like me, you don't know a lot of formulas, here's what's really nice, is as you start to type in the expression, Bluebeam Review will give you a list of all the different things that you can do. So you don't have to be a scientist to figure it out, but you can also just simply start to click inside and kind of just find your way through. Here I'm going to say count, click inside, times how many total count is count times unit cost. So over here, start typing in unit cost right here. I'll go ahead and say the format is also currency and hit OK. If you get this, it's because there's something that I typed in wrong right here. There we go. Unit cost. And I'll hit OK. Let's try it again. I'm going to say count times unit cost. I think it's because I put a space in there. Oh. Let's take a look. Unit cost. Let's go over here. Currency. Okay. Unit cost. Plus installed cost. See, that's the beauty of doing this live, right? I'm going to do formula. Let's try the other way around. I'm going to say unit cost times count. And the format is currency. Okay, there you go. Third time's a charm. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this to my profile. Remember at the very beginning, folks, we created a new profile. Here's anytime that you create custom content, custom columns, you want to save that information to your profile. So click Save to Profile, and it's going to save that information to our custom profile that we created right at the beginning. I'll go ahead and hit OK. Now you'll notice over here is unit cost and installed cost. Now, my duplexes over here, I'm going to click on it and simply go over here to unit cost. Click inside. Well, how much is a duplex? I don't know. Let's say it's $4.35. There's 669. Wow, did it automatically. I'll click on the quad. Over here, how much are those? I'm going to say those are expensive now. Those are $8.75 each. So it's $140 is my installed cost. But let's say I wanted to even do one more thing, another calculation. This is our internal cost, but how much do I want to charge the customer? Here, I'm going to go over and do one more thing. I'm going to do manage columns, custom columns, and you ready? I'm going to do customer cost, which is going to be my installed cost plus, let's say, 20%. So I'll go over here, click plus, and I'm going to say customer facing charge. And that's going to be a formula. And the formula is going to be installed cost times, let's say, 0.3 for 30%. And the format is going to be currency. Installed cost times times 30. That's a new one. Installed cost. Let's try it again. Customer cost formula, and that's going to be, let's try it, 0.3 times installed cost. And it's going to be a currency. Hit OK. I'll have to come back to that one. I don't know what is going on. It's 3%, right? So 0.3 is 3%. Oh, 30%. Yeah, that should be it. Let's say it's double, right? So I'm going to just say times 2 times, so it's double the cost. There we go. I think it was my 0.2, so it's 3/10. No, that was wrong, 3/10. So it had to be 2 for 20% for 2 times. I'm going to go ahead and save that to profile, hit OK, and there is my custom cost for it being double the cost. So maybe 1.5 times might have been better, 1.5. That's what I should have done, is 1.5 for a 50% cost increase. So that total cost right here then can be used at any point in time. All of that information over here can be exported out to a Excel spreadsheet. One more thing before we continue on, and I know this kind of went on a little bit longer than I typically do. I want to go through and show you how easy it is to take this information on the road. What I'm simply going to do is I'm going to go ahead and save this information, and then I'm going to open up Studio. Here in Bluebeam Studio, you have the opportunity to save your information not only locally, but put it out there on the cloud, or as my mom likes to call it, the clouds, which is actually kind of smart because there's multiple data points everywhere, right? I'll go over here and choose the United States, click sign in. This will sign in, and now I'm connected to the World Wide Web. Here, I'm simply going to go through and add this particular drawing to a session. In sessions, I can have this actively be worked on by multiple people out in the field. Here, I'm simply going to go through and click the plus sign, click New Session, and I'm going to call this session name, today's date, 2025-09-30, Field Electric. I'll click Add. I'm going to add the open files. Simply click OK. And now what it's doing is it's going through live and uploading that information right here. And if I want to attach this, or I should say send this to anyone, I can simply type their emails here. I can add them from groups or use Microsoft Exchange, or even go through and copy this into Outlook and invite participants to collaborate on this drawing. I'll go ahead and cancel this. Here it is now on my World Wide Web. By the way, keep in mind, this drawing right here is now a copy that's sitting on my computer, but this is the one that's online. When I double click on it, you'll notice that the icon over here shows that this is actively in a session. Let's go through and start to see how we can use this drawing live out in the field. And here they are. I'm going to go ahead and sign out of this particular drawing because I want to show you what this looks like live out in the World Wide Web. I'm going to go ahead and leave the session. And for now, I'm going to go through and sign out. The reason why I'm doing that is that Bluebeam Review is really smart. It knows that if you're in two places at the same time, Rick Kramer can't be both on the desktop as well as out in the field. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up my iPad and I'm going to share it with you live on the screen here. I'm going to go ahead and bring it into my computer over here in just a moment. By the way, this right here is nothing to do with Bluebeam. It's just a screen share application. Let's see if this will work. So one of the things that you can do is take the information with you on the road. Hopefully, this will start to go through. If not, I have a workaround that can also show you how this would work using the World Wide Web. Here we go. And 3, 3, 2, 3. I gotta tell you, this is the coolest stuff. I'm going to be working on my iPad. You all will get to see it live. And there it is. There's my iPad. Clemens, do you see my iPad? All right.
I can see your iPad, Rick.
Awesome. All right. So here is Bluebeam Review. This is a free application. If you are a paid subscriber to Bluebeam Review, you can access information on the go using Bluebeam Cloud application. Right over here on the very bottom of my screen is my Bluebeam Cloud app. And at the very bottom, I have access to projects and sessions. And guess what? What just changed rather recently, I think just overnight, is now I have information that I can access on my device. What? We'll get to that in just a second, but that is a huge game changer. Over here, I'm going to go to Sessions. I'm going to tap on Sessions. And here at the very top, we're looking at my iPad. Whoops. I'm going to click on Field Electrical, and it's going to open up. I'm going to tap on this, and now it's opened up my electrical plan. So what we're doing is this is live data that we're coordinating with out there on the World Wide Web. Here is that drawing. Now, if I want to go through and take a look at other pages, I'll simply swipe from left to right. And now I have all the documentation on the go. Here it is right here. Now, let's say, for argument's sake, I'm walking around the field and there's something that I notice. I can start to go through and drag an outlet right over here or a cloud, and then using voice to text right over here, my microphone icon. Please verify TV height outlet according to owner's request. Gotta love voice to text. And there it is. Now all I need to do is just tap it right over here, and I can go through and select it. And you'll notice over here, it gives me all the information of the history, the overview. I can tap comments, and someone else can start to go through and place a comment. If Clemens was working on this at the same time, she could start to go through and leave comments about this. Or if I invited the contractor or the owner, I'll go ahead and select it. And other things that I can do is I can use on the left-hand side my built-in tools. Now, this is not going to be as robust as the tool set or tool chest on the desktop, but then again, don't forget, this is just an iPad. Here we can even include site photos. So I'll click over here on the photograph, oops, and click on camera. And over here, let's take a picture of something. All right, it's my backyard. And let's say there's an issue with that. I'll go ahead and click on that, and then I'll simply click to place it. That information is now there, and I can make reference to that right there. So it's really amazing. Now, what's nice about this is I don't have to do anything other than hit the close sign, and I closed it up at the top left-hand side. Now, if this is the first time or if you've been using Bluebeam Review on the go before, let me show you something new. The last thing that I want to do today is show you something absolutely amazing. Bottom right-hand side is device. Folks, this is new. This is something that just changed recently. It's a game changer. Before, we were only able to view drawings on projects or sessions, but now I can view documents on my device, which means if I click on this little plus sign right here, whatever my iPad is connected to, I now can connect to my OneDrive. I can connect to my iCloud. If I have SharePoint integrated on my iPad, I can access the information on SharePoint. This is a game changer. So over here, I'll simply tap on OneDrive, click on Files, click on Documents, click on Bluebeam, and this is all the information that I have that's out there on my OneDrive. To open up a drawing couldn't be easier. I'm simply going to click on one of these drawings. Let's say, I don't know, documents. And over here, I'm going to take a look at specs. And I'm going to open up a PDF over here. Oh, how about let me go try a different one. Boop. Oh, it was working earlier. Files, documents. Whoops. Bluebeam. Wow. Well, that's different. It was working earlier. So that's what happens. One of the things that we can do, and I've noticed this is kind of a little bit of a bug. I wouldn't say it's a bug, but it's a feature. Over here, I'm going to go through and go to my OneDrive. I've noticed if the document is on the cloud, it's really not on the device, so it has a problem getting to those files. So I've launched the OneDrive app. I'll go over here back to Documents, Bluebeam, Document Comparison. I'll go over here to Original, and I want you to notice something. Over here, this little icon indicates that it's local on my computer. So one of the things that I can do is tap, let's say over here on A102, I'll click on the dot, dot, dot. And what I'm going to do is simply click Open in another app. Do you notice it's downloading it? Now at the very top, I'll browse over here to my Bluebeam icon and open it up. There it is. So it wasn't necessarily a bug, but it's a workflow. In order to in order to open up PDFs, first I'll go to the OneDrive app and download it. Now it's on my device. Once it's downloaded to my device, I can open it, manage it, and start to go through and draw on it and do anything that I need on this particular PDF. That information is saved live on the document, and then I can save that back to OneDrive. I'll go ahead and hit cancel because I don't want to make those changes. And that is Bluebeam Review on the go, which, by the way, all of that information that we just updated, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect, go back to Bluebeam, sign back in, go over here to Field Electrical, go over here to my drawing, and now over here is the new information of the photo that I took as well as the markup. Seamlessly. There isn't anything I needed to do. Working on Bluebeam Review couldn't be any easier. So I hope you enjoyed today's session. I know we went a little bit longer. I usually try to keep it really, really short, but we had so much to cover. Bluebeam Review, as you can see, is an incredible application, chock-filled with lots of features. I like to think of this as the Swiss Army knife of applications. So, Clemens, back to you in the studio, and thank you all for attending.
Yes, thank you so much for this session, Rick. I maybe had one question. We don't have questions from the audience, but I was wondering what can we expect from Bluebeam? Like what's around the counter? Maybe you could share more insights about that.
Yes, actually, I will. So, right now, Bluebeam Review Unbound is live in Washington, D.C. They're going to be making some really wonderful announcements, but I want to tell you a little bit of a sneak peek is that there's going to be even increased communication from the mobile device and Bluebeam Review. I'm not going to give it away quite yet, but we're going to see some really interesting changes on documentation and the iPad, making it an even easier, seamless review to mobile platform, where we're going to have additional features and reporting capabilities. It is going to be amazing. Now, if you're using Bluebeam Review and you want to make sure to stay on top of all the changes, make sure once every 3 months or so, go to the Help menu. Over here, click on Check for Updates. This will go through and tell you if your Bluebeam Review has any software patches or updates. You want to make sure to do that because there's new features that are released all the time in Bluebeam, and it'll enhance your experience. All right. Well, that's it. That's what I wanted to show you today. Again, thank you all for joining me today on learning how to take your PDFs to the next level, doing quantity takeoff, in this case with electrical. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Rick, for your expertise with us today. That was incredibly insightful. And thank you to all of our attendees for spending part of your day with us. We hope you found the session valuable and walked away with ideas you can apply to your own workflows. So on behalf of Graitec, thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you at a future webinar. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.